There's a report doing the rounds right now about a racist attack in London, and British Transport Police are asking for further information. They've released images of the two suspects. Unfortunately, this happened back in October, and given that the two suspects are Americans, they've probably left the country. So I don't know what's taken British Transport Police so long to release these images, and frustratingly, they're probably going to get away with it. I'm going to read out a report, and it's from The Sun. And I think that's significant because it can't just be accused of being a lefty source. It's anything but a lefty source. It's a right wing tabloid, so there you have it. But the two individuals are MAGA influencers, so read into that what you will. I certainly have my own opinions on it. If they don't face justice in the UK, at the very least, I hope that they're blacklisted from this country, and I hope they face heat back in the United States for their disgusting alleged behaviour. I say alleged, but I mean, that's a legal caution. So, this is a report by Summer Ramason in The Sun on the 12th of November. Where are they? Woman who tried to be Trump's press secretary and finance boyfriend wanted by police after racist attack. So we're not talking about just some random person on the internet. This is an ambitious woman who actually wanted to be where Caroline Levitt is now. The woman allegedly shouted abuse and made lewd gestures at them before both groups left the scene. So this is the report. Cops are hunting a woman who wanted to be Donald Trump's press secretary and her finance boyfriend after an alleged racist attack. British Transport Police released footage allegedly showing Melissa Rein Lively and her husband Philip Ostermann after a woman was assaulted outside Bond Street Tube Station in London on October the 11th. That's just over a month ago. The footage is very clear. I mean, no one can say that this isn't clear. People be pointing out they look like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho and Bonnie Blue, the woman infamous for her sexual conquests. The force confirmed they wished to speak to the pair after officers were called to the scene at around 7:30 p.m. Remember, this was the 11th of October. A woman who was with her sister and two young children, one of whom was in a pushchair, was reportedly attacked after bumping into the couple. The man allegedly hurled racial abuse at the victim and her family before the woman grabbed her hair, police said. So he was involved in verbal abuse and she was actually involved in a physical assault. Officers said when the victim tried to defend herself, the man pulled out a bottle, sprayed it on the family and claimed it was pepper spray. The woman allegedly shouted abuse and made lewd gestures at them before groups left the scene. Mrs. Rein Lively previously applied for the role of White House press secretary. She shot to fame in 2020 when she campaigned for the role and shared it with Politico. I'm a hair away from the White House. I do think I'm going to get it. My sphere of influence goes far beyond people who are paper pushers in the Trump campaign. I work with billionaires. My clients are, I can't even name who I work with. They own half of Palm Beach. I'm telling you right now, I'm not leaving here without the press secretary gig. The 40-year-old who works with an Arizona-based communications professional has publicly backed the US president in his second term. She is recognised for founding the America First anti-woke PR firm. Footage of the MAGA influencer destroying COVID masks also previously circulated social media. Meanwhile, her husband, Mr. Ostermann, is associate director of a private equity firm called Aquita. A BTP, that's British Transport Police spokesperson, said in a statement regarding the alleged confrontation on Bond Street, detectives have released an image of two people they want to speak to following an incident in which a woman was assaulted and subject to racial abuse with her family in central London. At around 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, the 11th of October, the victim was entering Bond Street Underground Station with her sister and two young children, one of whom was in a pushchair. There's a lot of social media pictures of them here. A man and woman were walking together in front of them when the woman collided with the pushchair. The man then began shouting racial abuse at the victim and her family before the woman grabbed her hair. When the victim tried to defend herself, the man pulled out a small bottle and said it was pepper spray before spraying it in the direction of the victim and her family. The woman shouted abuse and made lewd gestures at them before both parties left the area. I assume that means the it's not quite clear who's made the lewd gestures there, whether that's the couple or the victims. Inquiries to establish what the substance was are ongoing. There were no ill effects reported. Officers believe the man and woman in the image could have information that may assist their inquiries. Anyone who recognises them is asked to text BTB, British Transport Police, on 61016 using the reference 413 of 12th of October. Information could be given anonymously to Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111. Last month, Mrs. Rein Lively posted a picture on Instagram of herself outside Auction House Sotheby's in Bond Street wearing the same outfit as the woman in the BTP photo, according to Daily Mail. And that's where the report ends. British Transport Police seem to have messed this up. This happened a month ago. And yet they're only releasing the pictures now. So it's very likely they've already long left the UK. So why have they only released the image now? It's infuriating, because here you have a pair of entitled thugs basically getting away with it. I don't think the police would have released this if there wasn't some ground to go on, i.e. if it was a false allegation. I don't think they would have released the image. The fact they've taken too long to do so, who knows why that is. Perhaps the victim had been reluctant to press charges, I don't know. But I think they've messed it up because it's highly likely that they've left the country. At the very least, they should be blacklisted. You know, this is just typical of, and you know, I have to keep saying alleged, but it frankly would not at all surprise me. A lot of these MAGA people are entitled brats. They think they could do as they please. They think the law doesn't apply to them. They act arrogantly in other countries. They just have MAGA written all over them. So if they are in the UK, I hope they're arrested. I hope they're charged. I hope they're blacklisted from coming to this country again. And I hope they feel a backlash back in the US. Unfortunately, they probably won't, because their cult leader is in power. But it wouldn't at all surprise me, you know, if this is exactly as it says. Her Facebook page is plain to see. I'm looking at it right now. She's 4,500 followers. She's following 1,100 people. Her last update is the 8th of November, and she's talking about Scottsdale. So it's clear that she's back in in Arizona. So they've escaped justice. So that's really frustrating. But we're not totally powerless. The Home Office can blacklist them, not give them any, block them from coming into airports in the UK any time in the future. They've got away with it, unfortunately. I think they deserve all the backlash they get. It's disgraceful behaviour, and the thing about this is they're middle class. You know, they look like polished people. They don't look like typical, white nationalist yobs, to use very crude stereotypes. Actually, people pointed out the guy looks like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, played by Christian Bale, and he does. She looks like, a typical influencer, very vain, very full of herself. Without knowing them, my impression is what a vile couple. It's just unfortunate that they've escaped justice, but this is MAGA in a nutshell. Arrogant, entitled, obnoxious.